Hey y'all. Hey! If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. If you are new here and you just clicked on the video, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is Coco. You can probably hear her grunting right now. She's very grunty. You're very oinky, like a little piglet. Are you sure you're not a little piglet? No, mama, I'm a chihuahua. So, Coco's in every video, and she normally just falls asleep because I always have a blanket for her. And you will hear her snorting and grunting and all that kind of stuff. So, just a heads up that I'm not sneaking poops out. That's her sleeping. She's a snorer. She's a grunter. Even when she's not sleeping, she's grunting. I love ghost stories, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Ghost stories, paranormal, spirits, whatever you want to call them. I told y'all in an earlier video, which I'll link above, I worked in the emergency room from about 1999 until about 2002 or 2003. It was 3 or 4 years, and it was rarely slow because it was a big city, but sometimes we did get slow. And when we would get slow, you know, I'm chatty Cathy, I'm constantly talking, so I would ask the older nurses stories. I'm like, tell me some stories, tell me, I don't care what the hell stories, like your weirdest experience with a patient, like what's the most embarrassing thing you've seen, anything. Just tell me some stories. I want to hear some stories, because who doesn't love a good story, right? Well, one night we got on the topic of ghost stories, and y'all, let me just preface this by saying, let me just tell y'all, I 100% believe in ghosts. 100%. Gavin, my husband, he kind of on the fence a little bit. I believe, without a doubt, that there are spirits. There are ghosts, whatever you want to call them. I believe in them. I do. Absolutely. The Dead Files is one of my favorite shows. Okay. Now, I'm going to get that out the way, and I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to tell y'all these stories. So the first story I'm going to tell you about, it actually is from a doctor that I worked with. You know, we were at the nurse's station, and he walked up, and he's like, what are you talking about? And, you know, we were like, ghost stories, and he's like, well, I got a good one for y'all. And we were like, well, let's hear it. Okay, so he said, and all of these stories that I'm going to tell y'all, they happened so long ago. I'm still going to change names of like the nurses that I worked with, and any patient names, I don't even remember them. So we're just going to like make up patient names. But I mean, these stories they're old, so they're not like brand new stories or anything, because like I said, I worked there from 99 to 2003, and they're telling me these stories then. I mean, that's almost, well, it is 20 years ago. So, you can imagine how old these stories are. Anyway, the doctor. So, he's fresh out of med school. He's working at a super busy hospital, and he went to lunch, and he was coming back, and he was just walking through the hallways, and he sees this lady, and she's standing there, and she's frantically looking for somebody, like just, she's dead, like, please, somebody help me. And he walks up to her, and he's like, what's going on? And she's like, it's my baby, my newborn baby. He needs help, please, please, somebody, please help him. So of course he's like, oh, okay. So he rounds up some nurses, and they go in there, and they do their thing, and they, you know, take care of the baby, get him stabilized. And then they're like, well, where did his mom go? And so they start looking for her, and they're like, where's this woman at? You know, what? And then they find out later, you know, when they had talked to like a labor and delivery nurse or one of the doctors or something. I don't remember who he said it was. The mom of that baby boy had died during her C-section. Y'all, that's a mama's love. That's a mama's love right there. Oh, I got chills. Oh, I got chills. Okay. This next story is from a nurse that we'll call Deanna. I don't know why I feel the need to tell y'all the names of the nurse, and that's not her name, but I don't know. I guess it makes it more personal. So they're not, you know, because they're not all coming from one person. But this, she must have been really sensitive because she had so many experiences. I mean, she would tell me stories all the time. And so I'm just going to tell y'all a couple because there's a lot. And I probably can't remember them all. But I'm going to tell y'all the ones that I do remember. She worked at a long-term care facility and she had a ghost call her name. He called her name, y'all. She said she wasn't scared though, because he had actually been a really special patient of hers, because you do bond with patients, especially certain ones, and so there's a bond there, and that had been one of her like favorite patients. And he called her name twice, and it was outside. It was in the hallway outside of the room that had been his, that he had been staying in and that he eventually died in. And she actually had a witness to that one. Another nurse heard it. And can you imagine? I cannot imagine. Well, no, I'd still be scary. I was gonna say, well, maybe it wouldn't be so scary like if you were in a hospital with other people. No, this would be scary. Now, if I was home alone and somebody was like, Sarah, and I looked, well, first of all, I'd probably scream and, I don't know, have a heart attack or something, because there's, first of all, nobody's supposed to be up in here if I'm by myself, except, you know, like the dogs are always here. But, you know, like if my husband, my child are not here and it's just me and somebody's calling my name, oh no. Absolutely not. No. I'd be packing them dogs up. We'd be rolling out. Bye, ghost. God, what if it's a demon? Oh, Lord. Okay. I'm an idiot. I know. I'm immature. So, that was one of her stories, which was, like she said, it was a pleasant experience for her. It kind of gave her some comfort. You know, it was almost like he was kind of like telling her bye. And then she said a lot of times when she'd be at the nurse's station, she would get, like they have a monitor for call bells. You know, the little button they give you to push when you're in the hospital bed. So like if you need the nurse, you're just like boop, and the little light goes on and the nurse comes in to see what you need. That. So at the nurse's station, they have where they can monitor like what room it's coming from, so they know who pushed that button and what room to go to. She said she would be at the nurse's station like charting or whatever, and like a call bell would light up in a room that was empty. But it was always a room where somebody had recently passed away. And you know what's scary about that? I don't know if y'all, I'm sure y'all know how call bells work. If a patient pushes a call bell, the nurse actually has to go in there and turn it off in the room. So if there's a call bell coming from a room where there is no patient, where a patient just passed away a couple of hours ago and they've been brought to the morgue, and you gotta go in there and turn it, you gotta go in there and turn that call bell off. I'd be bringing somebody with me. I ain't going in there by myself. Nope. I'd be like, I need you to come with me to room 201. Ain't nobody in there. We just gotta go flip the call bell switch off, because it turned on and there's nobody in there. So I'm not going alone. Ain't happening. So another one of her stories, or I guess we can wrap this all up into one because it's kind of the same. She said she would, at this particular, these stories all happened at this one long-term care facility. So apparently this facility was haunted, or at least the floor that she worked on, or the unit she worked on, or whatever, wherever she worked, it was haunted, okay? Because she said that things would just move around just inexplicably. No reason, just death's not wet, something would just go sliding across it. She said the one that scared her the most, because the other ones didn't really scare her, even like the call bell ones, that would scare me. The one that scared her the most was, she was at the nurse's station alone in a picture frame, like a picture frame that was covered with glass, flew off the wall 4 feet off of the wall, landed by her chair and broke. No, Deanna. You a lot braver than me, because I'd have been like, that's a damn demon. No, I think everything's a demon. I do. I'd be like, oh, it's a demon. But yeah, if something came flying off the wall behind me and there's nobody behind me, no, I'm out. I'm out. Deuces, y'all. Deuces. I'm gonna go ahead and just clock out. See y'all. Never again. Cause no, I'm not. The next story I'm gonna tell y'all is from a nurse we'll call Rose. And I feel like I need to tell y'all that Rose was very, very serious. Like, she didn't really have time for idle chit chat. I mean, she was all business all the time. I mean, there was no joking around, no chit chat, none of that. None of that. So for her to actually like stop and tell us her story was kind of like, this has to be true, because she just wasn't one for not that the other ones aren't true, I'm just saying she just wasn't, she didn't participate in these kind of like story times, anything we talked about, any, you know, embarrassing stories, any kind of stories. But she told us that she had worked at a long-term care facility for senior citizens. Y'all, what is it with these long-term care facilities being haunted? Is it, maybe it's because, you know, it's kind of where people live their lives out and they die there? I don't know. But so she worked at a long-term care facility for senior citizens, and she had a patient that we'll call Mary, because I don't have a clue what her real name is. I don't remember. And Mary was the oldest patient that they had. She was 102 years old. 102, y'all. Oh, I would have loved to talk to her. I would, oh, the stories I bet she had. And Rose said that Mary was sharp as a tack. I mean, she was sharp as a tack, witty. She would entertain staff and visitors, like, just with her sarcastic humor and, you know, the stories that she would tell and stuff like that. But they also really respected her because she had a lot of wisdom too. So, I mean, she's 102. She's got some stuff to say. So that's why I said I would love to talk to her, because you know that's a lot of life. All right. So again, she did not have dementia. Did not have it. Sharp as a tack. Nothing wrong with her mentally. Nothing. She was there. She was with it. She knew what was going on. She was lucid. Physically, she needed help. She couldn't stand on her own. I mean, my goodness, the woman's 102. I'm way more than half her age, and my back hurts all the time. So I can't imagine when you're 102. Whew. So she couldn't stand on her own, and she needed help to stand up, get dressed, go to the bathroom, that kind of stuff. And Rose said she would, you know, like brush her hair and help her shower and that kind of, all of that. And Rose worked strictly the night shift at this time. And her routine was normally while the patients were sleeping, she would do laundry, catch up on charting, answer call bells, you know, if somebody needed something. And then when it got to morning time, she would start doing her rounds and helping the residents, patients, get dressed, get groomed, whatever they needed to do for their morning routine. She would help them with that. So one night, when Rose was working, she was working with another nurse, so it was just them two. And Rose was at the nurse's station charting. The other nurse was at the other end of the hall doing laundry. And Rose said, remember how I told you they have monitors for the call bells and they light up, and the nurse has to go in there and turn it off? Well, Rose said the call bell for Mary's room lit up, but then it went back off. And she's like, well, maybe it just malfunctioned, because Mary's bedridden. Remember, she can't stand or anything, so it's not like she could have hit the call bell and then got up and walked across the room to turn it off. That couldn't happen. So she's like, okay, maybe it just malfunctioned. Let me just go make sure she's okay. So just as she's about to push open Mary's door, she says she heard a lady's voice that was like very soft spoken and quiet. And the lady said, Mary, Mary. And Rose said it sounded like the voice was coming like from right behind her. And so she turned around because she thought, well, maybe it's the other nurse that was folding laundry. Nobody was there. So now she's like, okay. She said she was a little bit jumpy because she just heard somebody call Mary's name and there ain't nobody around. And so she looks like all around and like, there's nobody. And the other nurse, she can see her, like she's still down there just folding clothes like nothing's happened. So Rose says she just shakes it off. She's like, I'm just hearing stuff. So she pushes open the door to Mary's room, and Mary's awake. And she said, Mary looks up like hopeful, and she says, Mama? And Rose said she was startled by that because, remember, like I told y'all, Mary didn't have dementia. She was sharp as a tack. She knew where she was, who she was, what was going on, all of that. So she was like, this is not, she's never been confused like this. So Rose is just like, she's never been confused. Maybe she just had a dream or something. And so she said, no, hey, it's just me, it's Rose. Do you need anything? And she said Mary looked kind of sad. And she said, no, I'm good, I don't need anything. And so Rose went and tucked her back in, you know, fixed her blankets and everything, and then she went back to the nurse's station. Well, in the morning time, when she normally would, you know, get people up and get them dressed in their morning routine, she went in Mary's room expecting Mary, you know, Mary would always tell her like, well, it took you long enough to get here, you know, because her personality was so cute like that. And so she said when she pushed her door open, she expected to hear that, like, what took you so long to get here? Well, Mary had passed away. So she's the one that found Mary. Mary passed away in the night. And Rose said, and I've actually heard this before from different nurses, that when older people are getting ready to pass away, they will revert to a childlike state and call out for their mom. So she figured like that's probably what happened, is that, you know, she was getting ready to pass away, so she reverted to the childlike state, called out for her mom, and y'all, maybe Mary's mom answered. Okay, so that'll do it for today. I have so many more of these stories to tell y'all, so I'm gonna break it up into parts. So this is gonna be part 1, so I'll just do a part 2 and a part 3 and all of that. Let me know if you like it in the comments. Let me know if you have a ghost story. Please let me know if you have a ghost story. I love hearing ghost stories. Or if you have a ghost story that you want me to tell in a video, email me, DM me, leave me a comment. If you want to email me or DM me or whatever, and you don't want your name to be said, I'll do like I did with the nurses and just say, we'll call this person, whatever. But yeah, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll get started on part 2. Love y'all. See y'all later.